You ever wonder how much money your favorite guitar players make? Today we're going to check out 15 guitar players that all have a net worth of over $100 million. We're going to see what they spend some of their money on and if there's any other notable curiosities about them. Let's check it out. So I also want to clarify that this video is only living guitar players, not any that have deceased. Coming in at number 15, we've got the iconic Dire Straits frontman Mark Knopfler, who has a net worth of $110 million. He also has a really kick-ass guitar collection.
Bunch of styles coming together. And that's what probably one of the reasons led to so many guitars appearing, because I was being exposed to so many different kinds of music. Again, you know, the same romance with Strats I had with the Les Pauls, and still do. I never wanted to see myself as a collector at all. But there comes a point where you realize what a thing you've taken on. A lot of guitars came into my possession were actually given to me by people. So they come for all kinds of reasons. I never thought that my signature would be on anything. Never mind Fenders, Gibsons, and Martins. They're the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost, you know, of guitars.
Coming in at number 14 is Tony Iommi of Black Sabbath. Now, Tony has a net worth of approximately $140 million. An interesting side fact that some of you may already know is that Tony lost the tips of his middle and his ring finger on his fretting hand as a teenager in a work-related accident. And he was told he would never play the guitar again. What did he prove them wrong?
Well, I worked in a factory like most people from where I lived. Worked in a factory, and I learned to do welding, gas welding and arc welding, electric welding. And so I had this job, which was a good job, if you like jobs. And I'd be on a line, and they'd pass stuff down to me, and I'd weld it, and then it'd go on to somewhere else. And the one day, the person that would be sending me the thing to weld, it never turned up, so they put me on this giant, huge press, I mean massive, a guillotine type press that would come down, bang, and bend the metal. And so I'm there with this machine, and I don't know what happened. I must have pushed my hand in, and of course, bang, it came down, and it just took the ends. I actually pulled them off. As I pulled my hand back, it sort of pulled them off, and it was left with two stalks sticking out, the bone sticking out the top of the finger. But it's ironic because the day that happened, I was going to leave that job because I'd had an offer to join a band to go professional and to go to Germany and to play in Europe, which was for me a fantastic opportunity. And I'd rehearsed with this band and everything, and I was due to. And I went home for lunch, and my mother said, I'm not going back now. That's it. Now I'm finished. She went, you go back and finish off the job properly. You know, don't just leave like that. So go on. So I went back, and sure enough, that's what happened. They put me on the machine, bang. So of course, my mother got total blame for that. And. But, you know, it's just the way things are. You just never know what's around the corner. And that happened, and of course, and that changed my life entirely, because I thought, well, that's it. I went to the hospital, and they cut the bones off, and then they said, you might as well forget playing. And, God, I was just so upset. And I wouldn't accept that there wasn't some way around it that I could be able to play.
Coming in at number 13, worth an estimated $150 million, is Lindsey Buckingham. Now, while I couldn't find a whole lot of interest that Lindsey is into, he does like boogie boarding.
Boogie boarding is something that I love to do. I have been an avid swimmer my whole life. I used to be a competitive swimmer.
Number 12 is Pete Townsend from The Who. Now, Pete has a net worth of around $150 million. A couple interesting facts about Pete Townsend is that he loves to collect vintage cars, but also he collaborated with Jim Marshall on creating an amplifier that would become a sonic weapon. Early on in The Who's career, Pete complained that he could hear the audience talking over their performances, so Jim Marshall created what we know as the 100-watt super lead plexi amplifier, like the one behind me here. Coming in at number 11, worth an estimated $160 million, is Angus Young. Angus has got cars, he's got houses, lives a pretty comfortable life. Number 10 is Jimmy Page, worth $180 million. Now, Jimmy has a really cool house in England that has a lot of castle characteristics to it. Number 9 is David Gilmour, who's worth around $180 million. David has collected a large amount of guitars over the years, and in recent years has begun auctioning these guitars off for various charities, which is pretty darn cool. Number 8 is Ronnie Wood from the Rolling Stones. Ronnie's worth $200 million, and for fun, he paints. He's an artist. Oh, and he knows the King of England.
String to my bow that I've always done ever since I was little. I took inspiration from the trees in the forest where I live in Berkhamsted. There's a beautiful forest called Ash Ridge, and while walking through the forest, I see the trees turning into guitar shapes, and while I've got music on my mind, I express it artistically.
Number 7 is Kirk Hammett from Metallica, of course. Kirk's worth $200 million. Now, in addition to Kirk's massive guitar collection and his interest in horror films and action figures and things like that, I thought it was kind of cool that Kirk owns Gary Moore's original Greenie Les Paul Standard. Number 6 is Brian May from Queen, who is worth $210 million.
Hooray!
And even owns his own guitar company in England called BMG Guitars. Now, it makes sense that the front man for any group would probably make the most money, and Metallica's James Hetfield is no exception, coming in at $300 million. Now, in his spare time, James loves to build custom, hot rod, and one-of-a-kind cars. Some of his collection is pretty damn awesome. Coming in number 4 is The Edge from U2, worth $400 million. The Edge also loves to do a lot of charitable giving through various outreaches around the world. Number 3 is Eric Clapton, who comes in at a modest $450 million net worth. A lot of us think of Eric Clapton as slow hand. However, for fun, Eric Clapton has a passion for Ferraris. Coming in number 2, Keith Richards from the Rolling Stones, who is worth a modest $500 million. It's got a bunch of houses, got an airplane, got cars, got guitars. He's got a little bit of money to throw around. Coming in at number 1, can we get a drum roll, please, for this one? Because this is kind of a big one right here. Number 1, Paul McCartney, who is worth a staggering $1.2 billion. Now, Paul has obviously had an amazing career, from everything he did with the Beatles and Wings to his solo stuff. And the guy's smart. He's invested a lot in real estate over the years. And while he has taken some losses on selling some of those properties, you combine everything together, the guy is worth a fortune. Hey, let me know what you guys think. Drop me those comments down below. Don't forget to like this video, share this video, and subscribe. Till next time, guys, I'll see you later. Keep rocking on.